Hi, my name is Teresa Kalinka. I'm an independent consultant with Usborne Books and More. I have a 3-year-old and a newly turned 6-year-old who both absolutely love Usborne Books as much as I do. So I started out, I actually didn't even attend an Usborne party until December of 2016. And a friend of mine had asked me on Facebook if I'd go. It was December or November, I can't remember which. And I said maybe, I said sure, send me the invite, and I didn't really commit to anything. And I didn't really think I was going to necessarily go. And then she reminded me a few times, and I thought, what the heck, sounds fun. And I will tell you what actually really got me going was that the consultant who was posted some scavenger hunts and some parties and talked about the book prizes. And I thought, I like free books. I really like free books. So it was worth it for me just to go and see if I could get any free books. So I actually probably didn't even click going until the day of the event. And then, and I wouldn't have done it if my friend hadn't reminded me 3 or 4 times. So I do like to tell all my hosts about that, because I'd say you're really not bothering people if you're going to remind them, because I would have never gone to a party if I hadn't, and I absolutely love the books, and I was so glad I did. I found a million great books out of it, and actually a new business now. So I didn't sign up till May 2017. So, if you've got someone who's talking about becoming a consultant, don't lose hope on them. Just, touch base with them and see if they're interested, because maybe it just takes a while and maybe they're not quite at that point to do it. So I started out in May, and that was a really, really slow start for me. I didn't even hold a launch party until the end of May, basically at the end of my 30 days. So there was like 3 days left if I wanted to try and hit my kit refund. And I didn't really go for it because I hadn't had a launch. I had contacted people and been excited at the beginning and hadn't gotten anyone to take a bite on it. And it wasn't until I had the launch party that I was really grateful. It was a way to reach out and tell my friends about it and show them the excitement, and help me structure the way I talked about parties differently than when I was trying to do it on my own at the beginning. So May was slow. My launch party, I got a couple friends who wanted to have their own party out of it, which was great. I did not want to host parties for my own friends unless I could avoid it, unless they wanted a party. Basically, if someone said, hey, I want the free book, can I have a party? And I'd say yes. So I was hoping that it would quickly turn into my friends' friends asking for parties, which it did. I was pretty glad that the first 5 parties I hosted, 4 of them were people I didn't know at all. So June was better, and I actually hit my Success Kit 1 in June, so I hit that $1,000 goal in June. And that was kind of nice. I had 2 parties at the end of June, and I was trying to get them pumped up and going. And I had probably 3 or 4 parties lined up for July, and then 4th of July hit. And it was also when we had the slowdown at the warehouse. It was a little hard because people had ordered books and waiting to see them, and they hadn't seen them yet. So that was really getting slow. And I actually was at a cottage with very little internet, and most people weren't home for that 4th of July week. And I was getting a little disheartened because July 25th was the end of my time frame. So while I was at the cottage, I was reading up more and looking at different things, and I found about book drives, which I didn't really know about. And it got me very excited to find out that Usborne matches 50% of what you raise in a book drive. So this is really cool. So as long as you hit $250 in a book drive, then Usborne matches at another 50%, which means you get a ton more books for your money. I thought about who I'd really like to benefit, and I kept thinking about how foster kids go back to school this time of year, and it's a lot harder for them to adjust. They're adjusting to new families, they're adjusting to everything being different, new schools most of the time, new friends, new teachers, everything being new, and they don't really have a lot of belongings or possessions. And I know people donate the essentials, and they donate back to school supplies, and they donate clothing, and we try and do backpack drives and luggage, and anytime we have extra spare stuff like that, we try and donate to foster organizations. But I kept thinking about how magical it is to get a new book. I mean, we have so much in our lives, and it's still magical to get a new book. Can you imagine, like, if you have nothing, to get someone that cared enough to send you some brand new books? And not just any books. These are absolutely gorgeous, beautiful books that are very interesting and make you want to read, make you want to open them, make you want to interact. So I kind of put my mind to it that I wanted to do a book drive for foster kids, but I didn't really know any foster kid organizations in the Metro Detroit area where I live. So I reached out to friends that are social workers and counselors and asked them if they knew of any, and one of them put me in touch with Community Social Services of Wayne County. So I got a hold of them, and it was pretty easy because I didn't really have a lot of interaction with them, and I think you could actually be more successful at your fundraiser and book drive if you were to develop a better relationship and ask them to reach out to their mailing list as well. But I just even went with my friends and family and basically contacted them and say, hey, are you okay with if I work on getting you guys free books? And just got their okay ahead of time and then kind of went for it. So I ended up through that it was a fair amount of work. I mean, it wasn't too bad. You set up the fundraiser, you set up your ask, you set up everything about it, and then basically for 48 hours you really intensely contact anyone and everybody you know that you think might want to help give foster kids books. And it was very cool. A lot of the stories I got back from people about how excited they were to be able to help. Some of them are thinking about becoming foster parents in the future. Some talked about friends, family, their kids who've been adopted and how grateful they were for the foster families that helped them along the way. So it was very, very neat to see that. And we ended up raising about $1,500, which meant that Usborne matched it at $2,250. And I was able to order through very careful spreadsheets about 400 books for the foster kids, which is very, very exciting. They get about 150 to 200 in the shelter there coming through, so we tried to make it so each kid gets at least 2 books, and I think I've got enough left over that they can give some to future kids coming through as well too for a while. And the foster organization is actually talking about how they do an annual Christmas present drive for the kids and how they'd like to maybe do part of that as being Usborne with books, because they'd really like to give books as Christmas presents. And that the literacy rate is so low in the foster homes because they have been shifted around so much that it's nice to be able to work towards helping the kids that way. So that was very exciting. My kids actually love helping with the book drive, and they did a video which was very cute. They want to help kids get books, and my daughter asked me most night when she goes up to bed, she goes, Mom, are you gonna work on the books tonight? And I said, most nights I am doing something with the books after they go to bed. And then the other night I said, no, I wasn't. She goes, you really should. She goes, some kids don't have books, Mom. You need to help them get books. So it really touched them. I mean, I don't think they can still fathom someone not having books, but it kind of shocked them and made them really want to work towards that. So we're actually working right now on helping a special ed teacher get more books in her classroom because she's been so underfunded, and all of her old books are very beat up and tattered, and she's already poured a lot of money into her classroom. So we're working on that one right now. And I do plan to take my kids when we deliver books. They won't meet the kids in a lot of situations. Our special ed teacher friend, she wants our kids to meet the very severe learning issues with, and her classroom has all autism spectrum disorder, but they're kind of the ones that have really intense problems that are been pulled. So it's really nice to get my kids to see that these books do help a lot of people, and that this is a really fun way to, and I'm sure they're going to have fun with the kids too when they meet them, because it's a great class that she's got as well. So in July, I was pretty excited. So it was my last 25 days of my incentive period, and I had it all down to a goal that I wanted to hit, and I was trying to hit at least the first $100 book cash. I wanted to hit the final goal in the incentive period, but I wasn't sure that was actually going to be possible. So I was very carefully calculating numbers the whole way through. As of the last day, I thought there was a chance I might be able to hit that last one, but I wasn't quite sure. So I had a couple parties lined up in July. Every single one of them fell through, which was really disheartening. So I had the book drive that I was lining up, and I knew I was running that the last week, and that I was going to be very much pushing it. And then I ended up talking to a friend who I knew loved Usborne books. She hadn't really talked about having a party. I hadn't talked to her at all really about it. And she was going to be out of town pretty much the whole time except for one evening that she was going to be in town, and then she was taking off again the next morning. So we said, well, you want to go for it? Let's try. Well, what's the worst that can happen? You get a couple free books, maybe not a whole bunch. And it ended up being a really successful party, so that really helped boost my numbers as well. So it was about an $800 party, which really, really helped, and she got a ton of free books. It was awesome. And then I had a few parties that were closing up from the end of June that a few sales trickled in July, so that helped. And then I had my own party running as well, too, that I didn't do a special party, but I had contacted friends, and I've been emailing them books if I thought there was something they would like, or make them a wish list. And so that actually helped boost as well, too, because I had a couple sales through there. So basically in the last 25 days of my incentive period, I hit Success Kit 2, the 3,250 goal, I think it is, and then the 4,500 goal, I think that it was. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I actually hit all of those. And Home Office Challenge 1, I did try a last-ditch effort on like the very last day of July to talk to someone I know is thinking about becoming a consultant, but she's been a little overwhelmed by planning her wedding this summer. So I did actually try one last-ditch pitch with her, but that didn't actually fly. Because I thought, well, you know, as long as I did all this, might as well hit home office challenge too. But I didn't quite get a recruit that month. So it was pretty cool. I love doing the book drive. It really gets me excited to be able to do that and help kids. I was really riding on a high the next day. So like July 25th hit, and then July 26th, I'm like driving my kids around doing stuff. Like I'm like, I just like tackled the world. I honestly got the last order in at 2 minutes to the buzzer. It was very nerve-wracking. I mean, I had spreadsheets set up where I knew what I was ordering, and I was like all like down to the wire on it. But I was very excited I got that all in. So I was trying to explain to my husband like what I pulled off in basically the last 2 weeks of my incentive period, because I didn't really get it going till July 19th is when I had that party that helped boost it, and then I had the book drive the following week. So it was pretty much the last 2 weeks or less of the incentive period. And he was kind of like, okay, you know, and thought it was kind of cool, but he didn't really have any idea. And it was cool because Emily Tosh posted on our group page a little blurb about it and what had happened and all the goals I ended up hitting in the last 2 weeks. And I showed that to my husband, and he read it. He was like, wow. He was like, wow, that was a lot. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I cannot believe I pulled it off. So it was very, very cool. And I think the moral of that is put your mind to it. I mean, if you think it could be really far-fetched. I mean, it could be a long shot on a goal, but you know, if you sit down and you think about how can I get here, what numbers do I need, what can I get to do that, you can do it. It was very fun to pull off. I didn't get into this business to go around recruiting people unless, you know, if someone wanted to sign up. I think it's a great gig. I really enjoy doing it. I think there's so many benefits to it for me, my family, and things I can do for the community. But that was not my main goal. I mean, I signed up mainly to see if I get some discounts for my books that I want to buy anyways, and it just turned out to be something way more exciting and way more fun than what I realized. But you can reach it. I mean, you just gotta have a plan and then just start going for it and just keep plugging away. And when you get a little downhearted about it, get back and take a look at what you can do, and you know, at least do 5 more names, 10 more names. You know, give yourself a list and keep going. One other thing too I want to mention while I'm on a video, even though it's getting long, is that oh, I just looked at my numbers. It was about $3,000 in the last 2 weeks, by the way. That was kind of insane, which was awesome. But I was going to mention about going live at parties. I don't like being on camera. This is really painful for me to do. But I actually have started to go live at parties, and I think it's probably one of the best things. I actually have to laugh that my customers' orders often look like my bookshelf. I think it's really important to show them a lot of it. They know that you care about them. They know that you love these books. You don't always get a lot of interaction while you're doing it, but it's really kind of cool to start doing that. I do have a trick that I do, though. I introduce myself in the beginning part and have the camera show me, which I'm fine with for a couple seconds, but I don't want to sit there looking at myself in a camera the whole time. So I actually flip the camera screen to show the books that I'm looking at, and it's easier for me to talk about the books then. Perhaps it works better facing you. If you're very comfortable with that, I think go for that, definitely. But I wanted to point that out because if you really, really don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be. Just do it for a couple seconds and then flip it around and show the books that you want to show. So that really helps out a lot. Anyways, good job all you guys. I'm so impressed when I hear all your stories. I love hearing about all the things you're doing. If you haven't tried a book drive, try it. It's really, really feels good. You will be very, very nervous as you're waiting for the first donation. You'll be very nervous as you're sending out your first messages to ask people to send money to a cause that you believe in and you're hoping that they believe in as well. But you'll actually be surprised how much you learn about your friends and family and how much you find them jumping on board to support something and how excited people get about it. Get your kids on board. If you got kids, they really love it as well too. And it's something that it really helps you feel good about what you can do with books and that you can get them in the hands of people that don't actually have as much at their disposal. So anyways, have fun. Bye.